Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to continue paying tribute to Chrstine McVie, who recently passed away, as we know. Probably mainly because I felt a bit bad just coming out with her top 10 tracks, because she's done so many, and I think I'm guilty in not really appreciating her full body of work. So I've been doing a bit of legwork, and I was doing this in the last few years, actually, to be honest, because for years and years I didn't listen to any album before the white Fleetwood Mac album of '75, and I've been putting that to rights recently, acquiring copies of Penguin, Bare Trees, Heroes Are Hard to Find, and Mystery to Me on vinyl, and there's a couple I still don't have on vinyl, but I've got on CD. And if you add up all the Chrstine songs, this is in my collection, so not including the Chrstine Perfect solo album, which I really should delve into more, but for the purposes of this review, I'm just going to look at her Fleetwood Mac work and her solo work, and it's a lot more than 10 songs. I mean, she contributed 2 songs on Future Games, 3 to Bare Trees, 3 on Penguin, 4 on Mystery to Me, 4 on Heroes Hard to Find, and then we got all the famous albums which we know she contributed to, and then the more recent albums, there's a few gems on those which I'd completely forgotten about. And then we've got 2 full solo albums, and then a recent compilation which had a couple of new tracks. So if I add all that up, we're talking around 80 tracks from Chrstine, which is wonderful. So as you can imagine, the top 10 hardly scratches the surface, and just want to go through album by album and just discuss briefly the tracks that she contributed. So Future Games, I don't have it on vinyl. So the first album with Fleetwood Mac, she had contributed the artwork to Kiln House the previous year, which is, in my opinion, a pretty dreadful cover, actually. But anyway, she might have sang some backing vocals on that album as well, but she wasn't credited, apart from the artwork. And here she's contributing Morning Rain, which is a kind of bluesy number, and Show Me a Smile, which is an outstanding sort of early template of the Chrstine McVie ballad, and a lovely tune, brilliant. A real revelation when I played that a couple of days ago, because I hadn't heard it for a while. Then we got Bare Trees, the next album, 1971, and she contributes 2 songs here. Homeward Bound is not much to write home about, not to be confused with the Simon and Garfunkel song. And then Spare Me a Little of Your Love is a very tuneful number, which I think, again, is a kind of template for her later catchy melodies. And then we've got Penguin, came out in March '73, and we've got 3 tracks here which are pretty decent. Remember Me is probably the best, Dissatisfied is okay, and Did You Ever Love Me is very catchy. Nothing outstanding on those tracks, but nothing wrong either. Mystery to Me, October '73, so the second Fleetwood Mac album of the same year, and 4 tracks here. Believe Me is quite a nice number. Just Crazy Love is okay, a bit anonymous. The Way I Feel, same. But the track Why, which closes the album in kind of pretty sensational style with a nice string arrangement, is excellent. And I think, thank you for the person who commented who said it was your favourite track. It's not quite my favourite, but it's certainly top notch. And Heroes Are Hard to Find. There was someone who commented that Prove Your Love was their favourite track, and I went back and rediscovered that track, and I agree, it's a brilliant track, and I slightly overlooked it, I have to say. Heroes Are Hard to Find, the title track's okay, not bad. Come a Little Bit Closer, again, catchy, but not great. Bad Loser's okay. Prove Your Love is the best track by far from Chrstine. And then so that was off this album, yeah. Did I get those 2 albums confused? Heroes Are Hard to Find and Mystery to Me. September '74, Heroes Are Hard to Find. The last album before Buckingham Nicks joined, and we all know what happened after that. So we've got the self-titles, and my top 10 included a couple of tracks from here. But there's also Sugar Daddy, which is great, even though the lyrics are a bit silly. And the duet she does with Lindsay, World Turning, is pretty decent. On Rumours, I obviously included Songbird and You Make Loving Fun in my top 10, but I didn't include Don't Stop, which is a huge hit single, and you might think it's co-written with Lindsey Buckingham because they share the lead vocal, but Chrstine McVie recorded this, wrote this track 100% with no help from Lindsey, other than Lindsey contributes the arrangements and as he normally does to Fleetwood Mac songs, which is not inconsiderable. Then we've got Tusk, and I chose quite a few songs from Tusk because, as you probably know, it's my favourite Fleetwood Mac album. But there's a couple I didn't choose: Never Make Me Cry, and Honey High, which opens side 4, is also excellent. The live album included a track from Chrstine called One More Night, which doesn't appear on any album, which is quite nice. Mirage. Nothing made my top 10, but there's some great stuff on here from Chrstine. Love in Store, the opening track, and Hold Me, big hit single and very catchy. And Wish You Here, the closer to side 2, is beautiful. And I remember Uncut magazine in their ultimate album guide, with the Fleetwood Mac edition, they said, I can't remember this tune, try as I might. I can't remember the tune to Wish You Were Here. Well, I don't know why, because it's in my head the whole time. It's a very catchy tune and very memorable. And then we've got the self-titles from 84. Nothing made my top 10, but there's a number of top-notch songs on here. The singles, Love Will Show Us How, Got a Hold on Me, are brilliant. The Challenge featuring Eric Clapton is also excellent. Ask Anybody, co-written with Steve Winwood, is brilliant. Who's Dreaming This Dream? Where Lindsey Buckingham is featured on vocals as well with Chrstine, is also a top-notch song. And The Smile That I Live For, the closing track on the album. In fact, there's hardly a weak track on the album. I'm just looking at I'm the One is also another good track. Moving ahead, 3 years to Tango in the Night. I think I included Everywhere in my top 10, but I didn't include Little Lies, which is obviously a great song. Maybe a little bit overplayed over the years. Isn't It Midnight's not my favourite, but Chrstine also contributes Mystified, which she co-writes with Lindsey Buckingham, and sings the lead vocal, and it's sensational. This album is not my favourite compilation, dreadful cover really, but the one reason to buy this album, if you don't have it on single, because it was released as a single as well, is the sublime track As Long As You Follow from Chrstine McVie, and this probably should have made my top 10 if I'm honest. I'm not sure. I think I overlooked it because I hadn't heard it for a while, but I always used to love it back in the day, and I went back and rediscovered it, and it's just brilliant. There's a track on here, a new track from Chrstine called Temporary One, which is quite nice, nothing brilliant. And then we have this joint album with Lindsey Buckingham, and she's contributing 4 or 5 songs to this album. Feel About You is probably the strongest. I think that was her last, more or less her last recorded work, but she did put out a compilation earlier this year, and there are 2 new tracks, one of which was demoed in 2004 for In the Meantime. I forgot to mention In the Meantime. It's a long forgotten album from 2004. And I think it's got some great tracks on it, including a track called Friend, which has been remixed by Glyn Johns for the new compilation. And while some of the other tracks are not too memorable, it's a very nice listen. I recommend it. Anyway, back to the new album, the compilation album. There's a track called Slow Down, which is very catchy, and a kind of demo from 2004 called All You've Got to Do, with Roger Hawkins singing, who also is no longer with us. He passed away a few years ago. So that was all of Chrstine's songs, and as you see, I didn't really, the top 10 doesn't do it justice, because she had a huge body of work, and this is not even including Chicken Shack and Chrstine Perfect solo album, which are obviously part of her catalogue as well. So, rest in peace, Chrstine, you were wonderful, and thanks for everything, and we'll see you next time.